We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there. Murders of great men, murders of little men, just to show we make no distinction. We might even wreck a train or two. Just these fingers round a signalman's throat. That's all.
Hey folks, it's the Blind Guy here, coming back at you with another good old movie recommendation. And on this episode, we are taking a look at 1933's The Invisible Man, starring the excellent Claude Rains. This is considered to be the third installment in Universal's monster movie series, and it's a good one. I'll be honest, I think this is actually my favorite of the Universal monster movies. Unless maybe Creature from the Black Lagoon is up there as well. But I watched this for the first time, actually, just recently, and was just blown away by this movie. Absolutely blown away. So a little background for the movie is based on the H.G. Wells story from 1897. And Universal bought the rights to it in 1931. And originally Boris Karloff was supposed to play the Invisible Man. And I'm glad that didn't happen because that led to Claude Rains taking the role, who was actually a theater actor. And the success that he had in The Invisible Man led to his career in film. So think of all the great movies that we would not have seen Claude Rains in if this movie did not do as well as it did. So that's a little background for it. It is fairly close to the H.G. Wells stories. There's some liberties taken to it. But essentially what's happening here is you have a doctor who has discovered a plant-based concoction, I guess you could say, that ends up making him invisible. But what he doesn't know is that that plant also causes insanity. And so this is an interesting story device because it alleviates the problem of, well, he becomes invisible and all he wants to do is go and murder people. Like, that doesn't seem to really logically follow. And so what they're doing here is they're saying, well, yes, he's becoming invisible, and then because he's gone insane, now he wants to murder people. And the story does do something that I'm not a huge fan of in these types of movies, where they try to give you like an explanation for how he's becoming invisible. And to be honest, we don't need that, because if you were invisible, obviously you wouldn't be able to see, because you need light to hit your retina to be able to see. As a blind person, I know this. And secondly, it would also be very difficult to even move and navigate without being able to see your own extremities. And so I think they're better off if they just don't try to explain it and make it believable in any sense, and just use it more as a monster story or a bit more fantastic. But that's a very minor quibble with the movie. The rest of the movie is very good. It does have one character, the innkeeper's wife, who I think is supposed to be annoying. And she is. Fortunately, she's not in the movie very much, or else I don't think I would actually enjoy this movie much at all. I believe she's in the movie Witness for the Prosecution, and she's a bit annoying in that movie as well. The big claim to fame for this movie is its visual effects, which I have to say are probably the best I've seen in any movie from 1930 to 1950s, maybe late 50s. I mean, they're absolutely incredible. I had to look up how they did this because I knew they couldn't use like a blue screen because it's black and white. And so what they did is they actually created a filming room that was completely felted black, and then they would put the actor in complete black felt, have him wear the clothing that he needed to wear, and then create a negative from that and use that to then transpose or superimpose him onto the background of the actual shot. And you can see that a little bit when you watch it, because sometimes the lighting's a little bit different, but it is extremely convincing at times. And I had to look it up because I was not sure how they did it. There are a few times in the movie where it seems like they had a special effect they wanted to use. They had like a gag they wanted to use, and they constructed a scene around it. seems a little forced at times. There are some attempts at humor that are okay. It's not my favorite to introduce humor into a movie like this that's actually fairly dark. And that's the other thing I want to talk about is this is pre-Hays Code, and so all bets are off when you watch this movie. There were times where I thought, okay, well, he's not going to kill that guy. Whoa, okay, yeah, he does. So it's got some pretty dark scenes in it for a movie from the 30s. You just automatically think because it's 1930s that they're going to play by the rules that we learn to recognize in movies post Hays Code. But this is pre-code, so yeah, anything is fair game. Cannot guarantee a righteous ending. Cannot guarantee retribution, or that it shies away from certain violent elements or topics. It really goes there in a few places. So I think that makes it more fun, though, because it is more unpredictable. Just really enjoyed the movie. It doesn't have like a crazily intricate story. Like, not a ton happens. It's shot over a very short period of time. I mean, it takes place over a very short period of time. So if you're looking for, Coen Brothers type storytelling here, it's not that. It does have strong dialogue, and then the visual effects definitely carry it. Just really enjoyed this movie, though. It's got awesome Victorian style houses and homes in it. It's snowing at certain times in the movie, and so it's just got a really cool atmosphere to it. And just some of those homes are some of my favorite types of homes. Back when people smoked pipes and sat in their robes and stuff. Just an extremely fun movie to watch. Led to the career of one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest actors of all time in Hollywood, with Claude Rains. And his performance, he does a good job of just tiptoeing along the edge of insanity. And you kind of wonder, is he insane, or is he going to come back? Claude does a great job of just pushing the edge there a little bit. And I think that makes the movie really enjoyable. It was critically acclaimed when it came out, and I think that's well-deserved. It scores an IMDb rating of 7.6 obviously on IMDb, and I think that's probably pretty good. I think if they had removed a couple of those elements that I didn't like as much, I would give it maybe even an 8.0. I mean, just because of how influential it is as a horror movie. It's often considered to be the first science fiction movie of all time. And I can see that. Like I said, if Frankenstein doesn't count, if it's more of a horror movie, then this is definitely the first science fiction movie, because they try to give you a scientific explanation for some of the things that are going on in the movie. Just overall, can't stress enough, it's October. Check out some scary movies this month. I think you'll enjoy this one. That is 1933's The Invisible Man. If you want to subscribe, that definitely helps the channel. Liking the video helps. Commenting helps. Let me know in the comments what you would do if you were invisible. I've been trying to think of this, and you always think of things that are like a little nefarious. That might be part of the human condition, unfortunately. But it's hard to think of, like, what would you actually do if you were invisible? And in this movie, he's unable to come back. He's trying to come back from being invisible at times, and so that's part of the conflict there. But say that you could go invisible whenever you wanted and could come back to be invisible again, what would you do? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to support the channel, our Venmo is now in the description as well. That definitely helps us out. You can send me an email using the email address in the description and help sponsor an upcoming video. All that really helps the channel out. I do this for fun, but it just makes it way easier when you guys are watching and supporting the video. So I thank all of you so much. We are growing. It's awesome. And I will see you on the next episode of A Blind Guy's View. Laters on the Minjay. Aw, dang.
Laters on the Minjay.